Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go into painting now that all the edges are sealed and everything is glued down. So what I have on the palette, this is a cream makeup, which we're actually gonna use cream makeup around the eyes instead of using the PAX paint. It's just gonna be a bit nicer for the eye area. And then these are the PAX paints. So these, since Prozade is a water-soluble adhesive, I've actually wet the sponge with water, which you can actually use water, a little bit of water, to slightly thin it and make it a little bit more sheer if you want. But I wet the sponge with some water, and I'm just going to use this to kind of stipple around a little bit of the color here. So I have a couple colors, and we're going to layer colors in here. So starting with this yellow tone. Remember, we want it to look like it's fading into the hairline. Hold these hairs up as much as possible. You will see that the hairs will stick, of course, because it's adhesive. You just want to make sure to pull the little hairs out of there. Don't leave them stuck. Don't forget about the ears, remember, especially since we have something on them. We don't want to forget about them. These PAX paints, if you're using them, make sure you shake them really well before you put some down. I find it easier to work off of a palette with them as opposed to putting them in a cup, just because you can really shear it out and make it nice and thin if you need to. Change it up a little bit. Thank you. Remember, we're not looking for a super opaque finish here. We're really trying to get a muddled effect, because then it'll just break the tone up. And we can layer stuff in there, and it gives us this, it kind of takes it away from being a human to something else when you really break the skin texture up and the tone. And this sort of stippling effect with the sponge, again, is a really great way to achieve that effect. And add a bit of this in. Now, this stuff will dry really fast, so if there's any little pooling areas that were a bit more than what you wanted, make sure you fix that before you move on. Otherwise, when you go back to fix it, it's gonna be dry. And remember, we can still paint over top of this prosthetic because we only pre-painted it. We wanted to leave some of the painting until now at the application point. That way we have more to work with. So now, before I continue on, I'm going to paint around the eyes. So remember, this is cream makeup. Even though you can put the PAX paint around the makeup, it's just nicer on the actor, and it also looks a bit better to put cream around the eyes versus using the PAX paint. Close your eyes for me. So this is also gonna help to really deepen the look. I guess she's kind of like an alien princess. Or maybe she's just alien royalty in general. Depending on how you see it. Or maybe she's just an alien. Maybe she's not a princess or royalty. Just creating my costume. Which is half the fun of it, especially when you're doing something for your own project and you're not working with someone else's designs. You can just have fun with it. Create your own backstory for your character, you know, many things you can do. And look straight up for me. Add a little bit of a cream color to finish the rest of the eyes. Again, we're still in cream makeup here. I'm going to rip a sponge so I can use a tinier one and have a little bit more control over where it's going. Might even rip it twice. Just remember, you can adjust your tools to make them more appropriate for you. Look up. And also remember, there's no right or wrong color, or there's no right or wrong finish that you put to it, because it's an alien. You don't have any real reference image to go off of here. Just don't do too much is the only thing. Less is always more when it comes to painting and things like that, so keep it fairly simple, but give it a little something. I'm actually going to use this same color for the lip area. Again, we're still in creams. We don't want to really put that PEX paint all over the mouth. It's not going to be too comfortable. And cream's going to look a little bit better. I'm going to flip the airbrush on and get some airbrush colors in here. To help blend the edges. So I'm kind of pulling this a bit more into the hairline because this is easier to wash out of the hair than the PEX paint will be. And again, I'm not putting it on as if it's foundation. I'm kind of just muddling it into the skin. So you see how I'm kind of doing like little swirls and I'm moving around with the brush a little bit. Some areas I'm a little bit closer, some I'm a little bit further. Remember, don't forget the back area. Don't forget about the bottom area. Close your mouth for me. Make sure to readjust your little capes if they fall. And close your eyes. I'm also going to have her close her eyes so I can spray inside a little bit. And close your mouth. You don't have to hold your breath, but. Make sure you're giving them breaks to breathe, especially if they have their mouth covered. Make sure those breathing breaks are there. So I really like when it looks like things have been painted under the skin and it gives texture so it looks like it's on top of it. So that's why I did a lot of the painting underneath, and then this is kind of, think of this as like my foundation. It's just gonna make everything look like it's a little more skin-like. Don't forget these backs of the ears too. You want this to blend. Once you've got it mostly where you want it, we're going to add in some details. So I'm going to take the same color actually that I had used in the pre-paint. I added some blue tone in the pre-paint, so I'm going to do the same thing, but not with the PAX paint. I'm going to use some of this airbrush, or actually we could use the alcohol base. Is going to work a little bit better on top of this. So we can take some of our alcohol makeup, a little bit of 99%. With the stipple brush, and take this cool tone, and we're gonna fleck a little bit on top of it to break up this color tone. Close your eyes for me. And I'm covering this area because I don't want the white area to get covered by this, so that's something you can do too. You can put little things to help stop where it's going to go, that way it doesn't go too much around. Lift your chin back a little bit. Okay, you can relax it down now. Close your eyes. Have them close their eyes. I'm going to cover this area again because I don't want to get anything on there, even though we can paint over it. We're just trying to save some time and save some steps, as always. We don't necessarily want her to look blue, but it's just giving a different tone to the skin. So it's kind of taking it from this human to like human to alien. The contours. Since some of it got sprayed with alcohol, things like that, I just want to darken it a little bit. So just taking a tiny little bit of a black tone, a really minimal amount, and a teeny tiny little brush. Just hit every area that's dark a little bit with it, just to deepen slightly. You can just see how it helps to bring a little bit more of that contrast back into it after you've done your airbrushing and whatnot. It's like finishing touches, it just cleans it up a little bit. Don't forget about the ears. You want to continue the painting down now. So now that we have this on here, instead of just letting the paint stop, bring it down a little bit. This will also help to blend. You can paint inside the ears a little bit. You know, give it a little bit more of that alien looking tone. It just kind of connects the prosthetic with the rest of the ear too. That way you really can't tell where it starts and the prosthetic stops, or the ear stops, I should say. And it doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit. But you can see, if you turn to the left, how adding that little connection totally changes the ear and brings it and makes it a little bit more creaturey. I'm going to do the exact same thing while her face is on the side with these little lines here. Instead of letting them stop, I'm going to continue it back a bit. You see, if you look from the front, that connection really pulls it a little bit more, so it doesn't just stop in one place, it kind of connects it to the rest. And because these lines don't make sense to us as humans, because we're humans, this is exactly what the alien face would do, obviously. Turn that way a little bit again. You can relax your chin down. I like to think that maybe these are a vein of some sort. So some of them I might make a little bit longer, some might be a little bit shorter. This way. Thanks. That way a little bit. Maybe that one connects to the ear. Maybe there's something with that. Maybe that's how she communicates with the home planet. your chin up a little bit for me? Decided that this side was going to be more of a network of wires. So I'm painting this side a little bit different. Get the ear while I'm over here. Remember to look at it from all the different angles, so make sure you get in on the inside, look down, anywhere that you could, any angle that it could be seen from, make sure it's painted how you want it to look. To a main one connecting here. I have the idea that she has this little antenna from the front. I always think aliens are communicating. That's it. Turn to the side for me. And to the other side. Okay. Notice too how I took a step back and I asked her to turn, and that way I could see it from both sides and make adjustments if I wanted to adjust anything. If you need to take a break, just let me know. Okay, so that's about where I want to stop on the face for now. We can of course go back and do detail, but I kind of like where it is for the time being. So we're going to move on to the nails, and we're going to move the nails in. And while those are curing, we're going to add some more paint in onto the sides of the arms. Then we can go back, blend the nails, and then finish the rest of it.